this is a 3D printer. So I think the first thing we need to do, let's see what's in this box. Helps have a pair of scissors. What have I done? First problem of note. It's a bit big. Okay, so we're about a couple of days later now, after me doing some bits and pieces and getting involved in work. So down the weekend, so I've got some time to actually build this thing now. I've looked into this. This is perfectly fine. This is how it's meant to look. So that's fine. Now what I've had to do is I had to two things that were missing, which is not a problem. So in one of these Amazon box letters should be a USB stick, because I've run out, and a micro SD card reader. I'll explain why I need those a bit later on. So after watching many a video and getting some hints and tips on how to build this thing, I'm going to get the instructions out. I'm going to get building. So the first thing to do, we need to get the gantry attached to this. Now the bolts that hold this on are underneath. So get the right bolts, we'll get this on into the right place, and then we'll carry on with what's next. Right. Now the instructions actually say to attach the hot head to the gantry before attaching it to this. But I said a lot of people say, no, do it the other way around. Get the gantry on first, then attach the hot end. So I'm going to do it that way. Now, what's really good about this is that if the person who sold it to me has done it correctly, all the bolts should be in labelled bags. So to put the gantry on, I need the bag with HM5 bolts, which are here. Right, so what I'm going to do, I think, rather than upending this thing to get to the underneath, I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to hang this over the edge of the desk so I can get to the bolts underneath. Then tighten them that way, because I think tilting this and trying to get that on my own, we're going to have disaster. So let's see what we can do with this. He says, now the tools that have come, I've got a feeling that yet they're Allen headed screws. So they've got Allen head things in here, lots of different sizes and screwdrivers as well. So that's good. So we can run with that. Let's move those out of the way just for a second, and let's see if we can turn this carefully around. Just balance it. Oops. Yeah. And make sure I get this the right way around, so the print head's got to point that way. Kind of have to do this a bit on the blind side. There's one there and one there. Right. Okay. Let's get that one loosely in first. There we go. Let's get those in loose. Yeah, right. That's one side done. Now we're going to turn it around and we'll do the other side very carefully. Oh my word! Now that's really that's really heavy now. Okie dokie, that's really heavy now. appear to have lost a bolt. Okay, so there's the gantry on. Now before I push it back, let's have a look at the instructions. There we go. Move that back up and you can see me. So now the hot end, which I've now moved. Okay, there are five screws to this. 2 from the back. No, hang on. That's the front. Right, hang on. So this is the front. That's flipping obvious. So yeah, so there's 3 screws from the back and 2 on the front. So let's get that on. So the, hang on. Right, the 2 on the back are PM314s. PM38s, which are these, and the cable clamp. So yeah, I'm going to keep these bags. I'm going to keep them nice and safe. I've got a couple of drawers here which I can use, so I'll keep those safe. I won't lose those. As the previous owner did such a good job in packing all this correctly, don't really want to ruin it. I have 3 long screws which are using a different, not that one. That one. Right, let's get this hot end on. We can get on with the next bit. So, best thing to do would be crikey, this is not going to be fun. This is going to be awkward. Tell you what, I'm not going to do that way. I'm going to do it a different way. Leave that there just for a minute. And the shorter ones, I'm going to stick to hold this one in place. So I'm going to put the 2 shorter ones on the front, and then that will hold it on. Then I can put the back one on. Ooh. That's on, and the right way around. Third one, not easy to see, as you've probably discovered. It actually fits between 2 things. Now that should. There are a lot of adjustments and things to do on this thing, but I think get it done first, and then we'll run from there. So now this needs to come down. Do a bit more easier work with it. Right, so that's the hot end and the gantry up. There are 2 supports for the gantry. Right, it's going to release those 2, and then the longer of these cables, this big long one, goes into the top. It should just clamp into there. I'll put the that bracket on, so we can turn it around now for a minute. And now we're going to attach some bits and pieces on this side. So we need the wireless dongle. There it is. Which screws into there. Right, that's that done. Now we need to put the control pad holder on, which needs PM420s with three PM420s. PM420s, there we are. Excuse me, so got quite a few of these Allen keys. There we go. I'm not surprised because they're all different. There we go. Ooh. Okay, so that's on. Okay, we need the spool, which is over here. And that needs PM418s. Apparently this cable over here. PM418s. There we are. We're going to need a Allen key for those. Whoop. Okay. Not helpful, I can't see. Oh, yeah, that was silly, wasn't it? Well, I'm gonna. Right, but it has to be quite central, so it has to be kind of about there. There we go. That's a bit fiddly. So there were basically two nuts in this sliding thing, which you've then got to try and guess where to slide them to get those two screws into. That's fun. Right. So that's the spool holder. That's what holds the filament. Right. It's amazing how I sound like I know what I'm doing. But I'm hoping, people getting these printers for the first time, they're going to go through exactly what I'm going through. A lot of the videos on there are people who have owned 3D printers for years, and this is just another one they've added to their collection, and they're doing these really quickly. Some of you will be getting one of these for the first time, and I'm hoping I'm showing you that they're not quite as straightforward to put together as they look. Right, so that's now on. Next thing to do is let's get the filament detector in place, which is this. Picture 4 times. And we've got one of those. And then we've got something else to try. I don't know how that goes on. It doesn't tell you how to put that on. But it has to be that way. It has to be that way because the cable's going that way, so it has to be that way. Right, because the filament sensor has to go, I know, like that, has to. Which means this bracket right like that. What a shonky bit of design. Now I know what people are saying about that. That is really chunky. Right, there you go. Okay, there we go. Right. That was a palaver to get that in. Right, okay, so that's the filament sensor. That's in and cabled. Now I've got to do this thing. Cable clamp goes on the top, back there somewhere. Now I've got a funny feeling cable clamp was supposed to go. I forgot to put the cable clamp on. Nutty. Oh, yeah. Oops. Right, hang on. I'll turn this around. Right, the cable clamp goes in, oops, that way round. It's supposed to be on those 2 screws that are back there. Right, okay, hang on a minute, so back a step. Okay. This cable. Right around. So, right, let's corrected that cock up. Right. So, next bit. I know that it's a bit difficult to see. I'll try and see if I can zoom in when I'm doing this stuff on here. But there's the cable clamp is there and it connected into those 2 screws at the back. I'll try and zoom in if I can on this. Right, I'm just going to zoom in on some of the stuff I've done back here. It's rather difficult to see. So back here, as you can see, these two screws here go into the back of the hot end. They also screw into this cable bracket, which I've just put on. And there, under there somewhere, you can see there's the third screw that needs to go in. And then around the front, one there that needed to go, oops, and one there that needs to go in. Then up here on the filament detector, you had that bracket that needed to go on. So it's that, the bigger screw needs to go into the actual filament detector. The smaller screw goes into the spool holder, and then that connects into the side. This is meant to be loose. Okay, this is just the filament detector. Filament goes in there, comes out there, feeds through to the hot end. There. So that's all the fiddly stuff on there. What we've got to do now is we've got to put the brackets on here and connect into there, and then we've got to do something with this. We've got to put a bracket here, which I'll do next. Right. So as you can see, this is quite an involved thing to put together. It's actually reasonably straightforward. I mean, there's still more cables to put in. Obviously, I'll do those in a second. Just take a quick coffee break. Obviously, you're seeing me put this together in real time, so you'll be able to see how long this actually does take to put together. The rest of it I won't do, but what I will do is explain why I've had to get a USB stick and a SD card reader. I've got an SD card, a micro SD card, sorry. But the reason is once this is built, the very first thing I'm going to have to do, apart from getting it on the network with my wireless dongle, is I'm going to have to check to see if it needs any firmware updates. And the firmware updates on this thing are done in two stages. First is there is a USB plug on the front of this thing. So the USB stick will stick in there and the firmware update will update from there. However, there is a second stage to do, and that's on this. The screen also needs to be updated at the same time, and the only way to do that is you have to take the back cover off, insert the micro SD card, and then it will do it. Two-stage update. They do recommend it's done. So the first time this powers up, I'll check what firmware it's currently got on it, and if it needs updating, I'm going to update it. That's the very first thing you do, because Elegoo and a lot of other manufacturers release firmware updates on quite a regular basis to correct bug fixes and all sorts of things within the printer. And if you have a problem with it when you're doing the bed leveling and all the rest of it, 9 times out of 10 it's because it's running old firmware. Update the firmware, solves the problem, apparently. So, finish with a cup of coffee, and then we're going to do, I'll put the coffee down actually. Oh, let's put it over there. So we're going to get the other support beams on. I think that's the next stage. Yes, it is. And then we're going to start getting all the cables fitted up, which are on the back, on the back here. And we're going to get the cable clamp on. I'll get the cable clamp on next, then we'll get the support bars on, because this is quite a big thing and it needs to be, as you know, with all printers, they cause vibration when the print head is moving like this and up and down, and it's going in three dimensions, obviously, that way, and that way. So the less vibrations there are, the better. There are some things when you do the setup, which it will literally shake this thing, and they will input some details into the software that'll actually mitigate those vibrations, so that when it prints, it shouldn't vibrate. That's the theory. Apparently it does work. Right, so let's get the cable clamp on here, which a lot of people have moaned about online, because it means folding this, and I can see where the previous person's actually had to fold this cable. They do say one of the first things to print is to print a replacement cable clamp here, which is full size for the ribbon. So I will do that. But let's get this cable clamp on, which is this bag. I think, yes it is, by the looks of it. Yep, so let's get this on and then we can move on to... Oh, we've got the fan to go on. Got this. Got this to go on as well. Right, so yeah, let's get this on. It's only got one screw, really? Okay. Quite surprising. Right, let's get this on then. Yeah, as you can see, this clamp, yeah, it's not the best, but anyway. Oh, I see how this goes on. Okay, there we go. And then this. It doesn't say to do that. You're supposed to put the ribbon in first and then screw it. That's okay. I agree with the other people that I've seen this on. This needs a better design. This is not this is not great or clever. I have to say, I'm not. Yeah. With such a brilliant piece of equipment, this is not. My favourite word of the day is it's shonky, and it is. Sorry, but it is. This is not great. In my IT background, don't bend ribbon cables. The wires inside are really delicate. You really don't want to be doing this. Yeah, that's. That needs changing. Right, so that, yeah. There's cables galore on this thing. Oh my giddy up. Yeah, apparently all these cables, they can only fit one way and into one connector. So I'm not going to get that wrong. Right, okay, so that's done. Right, so now let's put the support poles in, which are these. Right, so there should be a bag, PM420s. Let's put that to one side. Here we go. Looks like PM420s, FWM5s, PM4s. Grief. Right, okay. Right. Okie dokie. Right, I will put these on and then I'm going to show where it's all gone this time. Right, just show people. Okay, so that one's screwed in there with the shorter of the two bolts, and that one, as you can see, with the washer first and the longer of the two bolts, it screws into there. So we'll repeat that on the other side. Okay, so now we're going to turn this contraption around. Like that. Just to the top, as we did before. Quick note, these tools weren't just supplied by the person who I bought this off, they are supplied in the kit. So you don't have to go and find any Allen keys or spanners or screwdrivers. They're all in the kit, which is great. Right, so there's the support bars put on. And now while I've got this back to front, I need to put the fan assembly on. P450s, which are these. We have arrived at the last bag of screws. Right. Get this on the right way round. And the right way up. Right. So that's the back of it done. Now the cables. So cable assemblies are all over here. So apparently they can only go together one way. So right, so let's see what we've got here. So this long one here is the power for the fan, and then we've got that cable connection fits into the bottom of that motor. Then around here you've got all these cable connections. They all go, as you quite rightly said, they can only go into one connector each, so you're not going to get them wrong. And then that one goes into the bottom one. Right, I think we're really we're nearly there for a power up. I think I just need to double check and make sure. Coffee. Right. Oh, I'll tell you what I've not done. I've not checked the power switch to make sure it is selected for 230 volts. It should be. It didn't come from anywhere else apart from the UK. So I'll just double check it. Okay, that's fine. Right. Okay. Turn it right there. It is very heavy now. Oh, Christ. It's very heavy now. Right, let's just double check that we've done everything we need to. All the power's in. Right. I think that's pretty free. We'll just run with that. Basically what they're saying is you can adjust this. If it's not, there's loads of adjustments on this thing if it doesn't print right, but until we get a first print going and we do the bed leveling, we're not going to know. So I think that's pretty good. It's rolling pretty freely. I think we're okay. There could be leveling on these to be done. There's a lot, but for the moment, let's see where we go. Right, so I've turned off the cooling fan. Right, yeah, we are ready to go.